Welcome to Rock Your Reinvention, where I help high-achieving career women like you get unstuck, make your corporate exit strategy, and successfully transition to your next chapter. Hi, I'm your host, Karen Freeland, a certified life coach and corporate exit strategist. Whether you want to start a business, become a speaker, or something else, I'm here to give you the tools and strategies to shift your mindset, build your confidence, and take bold actions so you can rock your reinvention. Ready? Let's go. Hello, ladies, and welcome back to another episode of Rock Your Reinvention. I am so excited for today's guest. We have the fabulous Nisha Patel, who is the owner and founder of NPatel Communications, where she helps women-owned businesses grow and gain visibility through powerful storytelling. With a background as a broadcast journalist, she crafts stories that resonate with your target audience. She also integrates PR and social media into your sales strategy, and she can help you amplify your brand and accelerate growth up to 5 times faster. I mean, who doesn't want that? NPatel Communications is a boutique PR and social media firm based in Greenville, South Carolina, aimed at helping women-owned businesses and brands grow with a customized strategy. She was recently named an SC Women in Business recipient, and I think you'll see why when you start listening to her, as well as SC Best in Business for Chief Marketing Officer. So without any further ado, welcome to the show, Nisha.
Thanks, Karen. I'm so excited to be here. You're so sweet.
Oh, no, you're so sweet. I'm so glad you took the time out of your day to come share some of your wisdom. So thank you.
Absolutely. I love this.
Yeah, I was really excited to have you on, and I was sharing this with you a little bit when we were exchanging some messages back and forth, but I think so many women think that when they're going to start a business or when they're going to do something different, that they have to invent some new business, and they totally forget to look at their own sweet spots and their own set of skills and be like, wait, why don't I just get rid of the middleman, the corporation that I'm working for, and just go sell this myself? And you're doing that. And so I think that's super inspirational, and you're going to help people shift how they think about making a change.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that there are tons. Actually, I would say probably every woman has a skill that can easily translate into a small business that could grow into their empire. But, I think that as women and as working mothers, we're just so busy that that's the last thing on your mind.
That is such a good point. And 1000%, I love that you use the word empire. So good.
Yes.
Okay, so let's back up for a second. You started out as a broadcast journalist. So
Yes.
How did you reinvent yourself and get into PR? Tell us a little bit about this journey.
Well, it was kind of out of need. So I was a broadcast journalist for probably about a decade, about 10 years. I had just gotten married, and 6 months into my marriage, my mother-in-law suffered a heart attack and a stroke.
No.
Yeah, and so she needed a lot of caregiving. And at that time, she really didn't want to trust anybody else. And so I kind of volunteered to be that person. And so when I did that, I ended up having to leave the news because I was doing the morning show at that point. So my schedule was overnight, right? So I ended up having to leave that and then move over to what us former journalists like to call the dark side and jump into PR and marketing. And so I was fortunate enough that I had made a lot of contacts that I ended up getting a job for Spartanburg County. And then that kind of led to some other jobs before I ended up starting my own. And, it was really important that I started my own because I had been in an agency for 6 years and I was 100% burned out. And it was time for me to go far, far away.
Yeah, but I love that the couple things stand out for me. One, networking.
Yes.
Our network really is our net worth. It is so important to be making connections, even when you don't know, am I really going to need to have this person in my life? I don't see what they can do for me right now, but you want to be establishing those relationships because you never know when your mother-in-law is going to get sick, your kid is going to get sick, you're going to be something's going to change, and all of a sudden you have to pivot. I
Yes.
love that you called it the dark side. That is so funny. But then here you are thriving in it. So it was like almost like, I mean, you must have had to have some sort of mindset shift where suddenly you were like, oh, this isn't so bad. Actually, this is a pretty cool field.
Yeah, well, it was, and it was such a learning experience for me because I had always been in front of the camera and not necessarily behind the camera. But I was very fortunate that I had a boss and a team of people who kind of took me under their wing and kind of showed me exactly how it all works together because I did not go to school to get a degree for PR. I went to school to get a degree in journalism. And so it was definitely different for sure. But I do think that the background that I have lends me to be able to help my clients even better because I know what that reporter is looking for and what they want to hear in order for them to want to cover you.
Oh, definitely. Yes. And I think you said something a second ago too. Having people who take you under their wing, right?
Yes.
It is so important to have those mentors and people who are willing to spend time with you. And again, it's crafting those relationships. But I mean, that's everything, right? Somebody who's going to give you the opportunity to learn something new. So this is words of encouragement, ladies, because you don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have gone to school for something. You can make a pivot and still be successful without some new certification and all the other stuff that we tell ourselves we need in order to get into a different field. So I love that.
Yes, absolutely. And NPatel actually was born by accident, to be honest
Ooh,
with
yeah.
you.
Tell me
So
this because I want to understand the catalyst from going from agency. I mean, you did say you were
yeah,
burnt out, so I'm sure that played a part in it, but what made you want to start your own business?
I never wanted to start my own business.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Hence the accident.
Yes.
Okay.
So I did leave the agency because I was burned out and we were trying to get pregnant with our second child, and the stress just was not working. So I just had to go. And so honestly, I told myself that, oh, I'll just freelance write for businesses around here and, just agencies, write some press releases, write some blogs, do things like that. And it just so happened our best friend owned a company that needed some marketing help. And boom, I somehow got conned into doing that.
Yep.
They're actually still a client 5 years later. And that's how NPatel was born because I had to start an LLC if I was going to do that for him, without a doubt.
Yes.
So honestly, that is how it started. I never thought that I would have my own business, never wanted to be my own boss, none of that. I literally just wanted to go in, get my work done, go home, and not think about it ever again. But
Yeah.
it was,
I love that you were forced to make an LLC and look at you now building your empire.
yes, correct. I'm hoping to build that empire. That's for
Yes,
sure.
it's happening. It's all happening. It's coming.
Yes.
Okay, so talk to me about fears because I have to imagine that when you first realized, oh my gosh, I am making an LLC. Oh my gosh, I am starting a business. There were probably some fears that were creeping up in your head.
Oh my God. Imposter syndrome. Whew, that is a real thing. And I'm sure we all experience it at some point in time. What do I know about running a business? I have no idea how financials work, doing an invoice, like taxes, all of that crap that I never realized came along with running a business. I mean, I am damn good at what I do, but I suck at running a business without a doubt. Without a doubt. And the funny thing is, I come from a long line of entrepreneurs in my family too. My husband is a small business owner.
Really? See, that's interesting because I'm like the opposite where there's no entrepreneur. My sister was the first entrepreneur
Yeah.
and I thought she was crazy. And so like we were nope. I was like corporate all the way for the longest time. And then
Yes.
so yeah, when I started, I was like, I don't even have anybody to ask. Like there's
Yeah.
no support. So this is
Right.
fascinating. You were
Yeah.
surrounded by entrepreneurs and had never thought about it.
Yeah. I never wanted to be one. They never, my dad was an entrepreneur, but he never, I don't know. I guess I never saw him like that. For me, I always thought my track would be I'd be a reporter. Like my dream job was to be a reporter on CNN. Like that was my ultimate, goal. So running a business never even came into my head at all. And so this was just kind of a different, track to take. And so you never know what's going to happen in your life and everything. I'm a true believer
Yeah.
in everything happens for a reason. So I know that I'm sitting in the seat, being my own boss, having the flexibility for a reason.
Yeah. So how did you get over that imposter syndrome? Were there things that you did, or like how did you move through it?
Well, I still go through it without a doubt. But what I have learned is to lean on my tribe. So I
Mm.
am very fortunate that I'm surrounded by a lot of women owned businesses who are my friends, who've been my friends for a very long time. And so I actually ended up creating this thing called Think Tank for like minded women owned businesses so that we can just kind of talk about like what our fears are, how are we getting business, just all of the things, and getting out of the imposter syndrome and celebrating our wins and celebrating our failures that we've had as well and what we can learn from them. And so honestly, I started that last year in 2024, and if it wasn't for them, I really don't know where I would be at this point. But being able to
Mm.
celebrate all of that has really helped me overcome it. And if I do have a new business meeting or like this podcast interview, and if I'm nervous about it, I will text that group and I'll be like, okay, I'm about to do this. I need some words of encouragement. And boom, 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 boom. They all send it. And so then I just feel better. Like my ego's inflated. We're good to go.
I love that. And it's community is so important. And that is why I started my Facebook group. Same thing, Successful Working Women Rocking Reinvention, because I just wanted a place where women could go and explore opportunities and, away from LinkedIn and away from family who may or may not understand what they're doing. And they could just come to a community of like minded women who are like, let's figure it out. Like, let's get it done. We'll
Yeah,
find a way.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And,
cool.
and if you start your own thing, everyone in your life is not necessarily going to understand what you're doing. And so that's why I think it is so important to have that community of like minded professionals because they understand what you're going through and they know it. Whereas maybe your family or your friends may not because they're not going through the same thing. Not that they're not supportive, but they can't necessarily help you get through that
Right.
hump. So that
Yeah.
community, without a doubt, is important.
Yeah. No, I love that. I'm curious, do you have a motto that you work or live by? And if so, will you share it with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So my motto is one day at a time.
Mm.
So I am a wholehearted believer in, which took me a long time to get here. Do not get me wrong. But, I used to be that person that wrote down my to-do list and had 100 things and I always had to be busy and I always had to look like that. And I thought that is what, success looked like. And it wasn't until I started my business and talking to my community that I'm like, you know what? I don't need to have every hour slotted with something to do. Like I
Yes.
can just, if I don't get to that task today, it'll still be there tomorrow. Like it's okay. No one's going to die. Nothing's going to happen. There's no emergency. So I literally take it one day at a time, whether that's professionally, whether that's personally. I'm trying to lose weight as we all are in January. So, if I don't get to my exercise one day, it used to make me so angry and anxious and stressed out. Now I'm just like, you know what? I just didn't have time to get to it. So it's okay. It'll just take me a little longer to get that completed. So it's all good. Take it one day at a time and just relax and take
It's
a look.
such wise advice because it really allows you to live in the present moment. And I hear people say all the time, well, I just want to be more present. I want to be more present. I'm like, but what are you doing to be more
Mhm.
present? Oh, look, Nisha's not scheduling every hour of the day. Nisha's showing herself grace, right? Like there's actionable things that you can do to
Yeah,
be more present, but you have to do the things, right?
correct. Yes, absolutely. Like the breathing, the meditating, that does not
Mhm.
work for me.
Right,
Because I'm in my thoughts too much. Like I think
right.
too much.
I can
But
only
definitely,
do sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was saying
no,
the
no,
only
no,
kind of meditation I can do is guided, where I'm
yeah,
listening to someone else and they're
something,
telling me what to do. But yeah, I
yeah,
can't just like, oh, and
no,
then
no,
go into my
correct,
head.
correct. You know what I do if I need like a 10-minute break or something? I will literally put Bravo on and watch Real Housewives for 10 minutes, and then that like revs me up to then move on to the next thing.
But it's finding that little thing that's going to be your thing, right? Like if that's
Yes.
what works for you, do it.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I
So
agree.
if you haven't tried watching The Real Housewives, maybe that's the key.
Do it. Do
Why not?
it.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. How does a woman know if she needs PR. So whether she's starting a business or whether she is just for herself, for her own professional career, maybe she is still in the corporate world. How do you know? What are the indicators that it might be time to hire that PR firm?
Well, I think every woman needs PR. Like you said, whether they're starting a business, whether they want it professionally, no matter what. I think that PR gives you that credibility and that visibility that you need to be able to grow, sell your product, sell your service, sell yourself to that next employer, whatever that might be. And there are so many facets to PR that I do believe a lot of people think PR is strictly media relations, and that is not the case. So media relations is obviously your press releases and talking to a reporter and getting on a podcast and being interviewed by somebody. But PR also is social media. It's also blogging. It's creating that content. It's community relations, so it's having a booth at a farmer's market, and getting your word out. And I believe wholeheartedly that PR is one of the most powerful ways to get your name out there, because so many people will be either seeing that particular piece in a publication or on listening to that podcast, or you're at a booth at a farmer's market that is sprawling with hundreds of people, and that's just a way to gain visibility. So I truly believe that every woman needs PR, and it is my goal for this year to explain and really empower women to use PR as a strategy for them to grow their business or grow themselves.
Yeah. And I think one of the things you mentioned that scares a lot of people, right, is the blogging, the content marketing,
Yes.
like all that stuff. And they just go, I don't have time for this. I don't want to be on social media all day. Like their schedules are already jam packed for whatever
Yes.
they're, things, 9,000 things we're doing, especially
Yes.
if you're a working mom, right? I was like,
Yeah.
I don't have time to blog. But
Correct.
that is the beauty of having someone in PR. They can do a lot of that work for you and help
Correct.
you to maybe even figure out a better strategy or use AI, or maybe there's other tools that if you do want to do it yourself, that can make it faster.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, if there's any advice that I could give somebody out there is obviously start small. So, if you are trying to be a thought leader in your industry, just start posting on LinkedIn 3 times a week. That's it. That's all. That's it. That is one of the best ways for you to be able to do that. And then you can look at growing into doing other things. But I always tell my clients, specifically those women owned businesses, that I know you don't have the time to do it. So let's look at what you have the time to do and let's figure out what that looks like. Because the worst thing you could do is just decide, oh, I'm going to start a social media channel, but then you only post once a week, and that's not going to get you anywhere. So don't waste your time
No.
even doing that. Just forget it. So, you can find an hour or two in your day to devote to a PR tactic. It's just a matter of what that is that you are most passionate about.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of having someone like yourself in their corner. You can kind of say, hey, look, for what you're trying to do, posting on Twitter, that's actually not going to help you. Like if you're going to do something, yeah, you should be on LinkedIn, or, actually, I think you'd do better on Instagram or whatever,
Yeah.
so that you are putting your eggs in the right basket.
Yes, without a doubt, without a doubt. And it can definitely fit within your budget too. Like I know a lot of people are like, oh, PR can be, a lot of money, and it's an investment. It is an investment, but don't think that you have to spend thousands of dollars to get somebody to help you, because that's truly just not the case.
Yes.
If you go to a bigger agency, obviously, yes, you are going to spend. But, if you go to somebody like who is a consultant or who is a freelancer, without a doubt, it can definitely make you work for your budget, for sure.
Yeah. And it's like, what's the ROI? Think about it. So if you're in corporate, you get a raise, you are in your business and you grow 5X, like, please. Yeah. I mean, it's here, take my credit card, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
No brainer. Yeah, but we got to think about that. And a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
They're just only looking at the money going out of the door, and they're not actually seeing what they're getting back for that money. So really important to think about that return on investment. And while we're chatting about this, what are some things that women should look for in a PR firm when they're trying to choose? Like, what do they need to know to make a good selection?
I get this actually a lot. I have a lot of clients who end up coming to me because they have talked to a so-called PR firm who guarantees results. No PR person can guarantee you anything, okay? If a reporter wants to talk to you, it's because you have a story that they want to write about or they want to interview for. If you pay them, it's not PR, it is marketing. So those are two very different things. So, I would say that depending on what your goals are, you should tailor questions to that particular firm based on that. So, you should ask them, well, how do they work? How do they create content? If you have a particular goal, like on social media, you're trying to grow 100 followers, like what is their strategy to get that 100 followers?
Mm,
And if they are just kind of giving you a generic answer, run for the hills without a doubt. And if somebody tells you that they can guarantee a piece in New York Times in 2 months, they're lying to you. So please do not by any means fall for that, because it will not fall under an editorial page. It'll fall under an advertorial page. And basically, it'll just be an ad for your business. That's what you pay for.
mm. Yeah, that's a big difference. You want that earned media, right?
Yeah.
That you
Yes.
didn't have to pay for.
Correct. And your client will trust you more. Your customers will trust you more when that reporter is the one telling your story versus you telling your story, without a
Yeah.
doubt.
Another question I'll add in there that I was really important for me when I was looking for someone to help me support my book was the difference between national media and local media. And so I had specifically chosen somebody who was solely focused on local media because I wanted to get in here to the Greenville market being new and drive book sales and all that. So that was great. But then longer term, there was a limitation because they couldn't go beyond this market, right? So then
Yeah.
at that point, it was like, okay, now I have to either make a switch or let go of PR or make a decision about what I'm going to do because they weren't able to get to that next step. So
Yeah.
sometimes yes, you want to know your goals. You also want to maybe you might want to future proof yourself depending on
Yeah.
what you ultimately want to do.
Yeah, and I would say for you for sure, starting local, and for a lot of newly owned or newly formed businesses, starting local is the best way. You want to do a blitz all over the market so that when you do try to do the national media, you have credibility to be able
Mm.
to take to them and say to that reporter, "Look at all of this, coverage that I've gotten. So I am legit. I promise. I'm not just some random person that's trying to get on TV or that is trying to get a story in, but you are credible, and it will
Mhm.
lend credibility to yourself, and will gain that visibility and that trust with your customer for sure.
Yeah. And I think substance, right? That there's something behind it. Cause I
Yes.
think so many people just kind of throw up a shingle. I mean, especially in my field, right? Coaching. Oh, there's some bad coaches
Sure.
out there that just really don't have it together. But it's like, no, I could go and be like, look, you can watch 15 news segments that I've been on where I'm giving
Yes.
tips and advice. I mean, it's not fluff, it's good, good stuff. So
Correct.
they can judge that for themselves, obviously, because they can go see it.
Yes.
So yeah, I
Yes.
think you're
And
spot on there.
the other thing I would say that I want to put in there is that the other thing when you're trying to find a PR firm, a lot of websites for these PR firms will say, we've gotten people in the Times or New York Times or Washington Post or Fortune or Vogue or whatever. That's all well and good, but I would encourage you then to do even more research to see what exactly that story was. Was
Hmm.
it just a little blurb of something? Was it an advertorial? Was it a real story that aligns with what you're looking for? So I would say just do your research on who that PR firm is, and talk to people, about it,
Yeah.
to see, well, have you done it before? And I'm sure one or two people that have, hired PR firms, and did it work for them or whatnot. So for sure, rely on
Yeah.
your community for that, without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember when I got my first PR person, they were like, "Oh yeah, I know people at the Chloe Clarkson show," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be amazing! My book's gonna blow up!" Blah blah blah. None of it materialized, And I finally was like, "I can go get podcasts myself. I don't need to pay for this. I had the time, at that point." And so finally ended up letting that person go. So it can be sometimes you have to try a couple, kiss a couple frogs
Yes.
for your prince. I
Without
guess
a
it's
doubt.
the
Without
nature
a
of the
doubt.
business, but yeah. So, but just go to Nisha and then you can skip all
Yes.
the frogs.
I will help you. That's right. That's right. And if I can't help you, I'll find someone else who can help you.
Yeah,
So
which I
I'm
love
not here
that.
to try to take your money. I'm not here to try to take your money. I want to make your money work for you because I'm also a small business owner. So I 100% understand that it is a small budget to work with.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing those tips. I think that'll be really helpful for people as they're thinking about, okay, 2025, where do I want to invest my dollars? How do I want to help myself achieve my goals? And PR, social, all those things is such a great tool and a strategy to get you out there.
Yes,
So let's
absolutely.
talk about the mistakes because I know some entrepreneurs are making mistakes, and a lot of the women that listen to the show are business owners. So, what are some of the mistakes you see specifically with PR and social media marketing?
That there is no strategy, I would say. I think that we all believe that we should be on social. Let's just take social, for example. I think that every single person is like, oh, yeah, that's where everybody is. So I need to be on every single channel and I need to put out all of this content. And then, of course, people will just, start coming to me. Well, it doesn't work like that. So it's important that you understand who your ideal client is, who you're trying to talk to, and then what channel or platform does that audience live? Like, where do they interact? If you're not B2B, LinkedIn is not for you, without a doubt. You need to be on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. TikTok is kind of whatever. So, don't put all of your eggs in that basket. But, I would definitely do your research and determine, who that is. And then I would say, just not incorporating any thought leadership or any PR in your strategy, any media relations. Yeah, I really strongly believe that you should have some type of media relation as part of your strategy, whether that's writing articles for trade magazines or whether that's writing press releases for your business. If you started one, if you are hiring, it just shows that you are legit, you are credible, and that you are a business. So I would definitely say not incorporating either of those things into your strategy is probably the biggest mistake that I see business owners doing, for sure.
Yeah. And I am so guilty of the first one. When I started, I didn't have a business yet, but I just was writing a book, and my editor was like, you got to be on social. You got to build a platform and get hundreds of thousands of followers. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to talk about? Like, the book's not out yet. So I shared a little bit of my writing journey, but then I would be like, talking about my acid reflux, or then I'd be like posting a picture of me in some cute Mets tank top, and then the Mets would repost it, this Mets Hotties page. Next thing you know, got a bunch of thirsty guys showing up on my page, and I'm like, well, none of you are coaching with me. You're not my ideal client. And it was like, I wasted so much time and energy trying to build a community on Instagram in those early days with all the wrong pieces. Like, I didn't have a strategy.
Yeah.
I didn't know what my strategy should be.
Yeah.
And so it was sort of a disaster. And I've really had to like refine it and hone it. And I'm sure there's people who are like, I don't even know why I'm following this lady. Like, where? And it was
Yeah.
because of some stupid Mets Hotties post, like, so don't do
Well, yeah.
that because you will
Yeah.
burn yourself out on social.
Correct. And don't just post. Like, again, it's important to think about what does your ideal client, what do they like to see? What do they like to talk about? What are they reading? What are they watching? What are they doing? And so it is important that you, like I said, do your research, determine who's where, and then really determine what that strategy should be. And I would say if you want to be successful in social, you should be consistently posting. I know everybody says that, but I'm telling you, 2 to 3 times a week. If you don't do it 2 to 3 times a week and you can't do it 2 to 3 times a week, don't go on social.
Yeah,
Find something else to do. Just don't do it.
exactly.
Just don't do it. Do community relations, do something else, but don't do social. If you can't be consistent, you're wasting your time. Without
Yeah.
a doubt.
And not only because it won't do anything for you because the algorithms won't pick you up, but also it is not good for your clients, right? When
Yeah.
your potential customers are looking, oh, she hasn't posted in 6 months, she hasn't posted
Yeah.
in 3 weeks, like, they're like, is she still in business? What's
Yeah.
happening over there? So I'm
Yeah.
telling you, they are looking at that. I had someone recently who was looking for people to interview for a magazine, and they asked me
Mhm.
for some referrals, and I went and I looked at a couple people's pages, and I was like, they haven't posted lately. They're not even posting about their business. I go, I'm not referring them because they don't look
Yeah.
like they have it together. And
Correct.
so
Yes.
people in my network missed out on that opportunity because they weren't consistent on social.
Yeah.
It matters.
Yeah. It does, without a doubt, without a
And
doubt.
they don't know that they missed that opportunity. I didn't like
Yeah,
send them a message and be like, hey, I was going to refer you. I just moved on. So they don't
yeah,
even know it. So you don't know what kind of opportunities you're missing as a small business owner when you don't have that presence.
absolutely. Yeah, it is definitely key because now, I mean, think about it. When you're trying to find a product or whatever, a majority of you probably go to Instagram or Facebook, whatever your social media platform of choice is, rather than going to the website first. You're going to
Right.
check out their socials and see what are they doing, what's going on. But again, if you can't be consistent, just like we just said, don't be on social. Just don't do it
Yeah.
whatsoever. And I've known plenty of businesses who are not on social that are still successful. So don't think that you have to be on social to be successful. That is just a platform for you that maybe, would work for you, but it may not. So it's a trial and error thing for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you said that because I think we look at other people's businesses and we think we have to run ours the same way. And we really don't. I mean, there are thousands of businesses, hundreds of millions of businesses that existed before social media, and they did
Correct.
just fine without
Yes,
social media. So
exactly.
just because there's a new tool available, threads or this squirrel, right? Thing that I was going to go chase, like we
Exactly.
don't have to do that. As business owners, we can evaluate it, we can explore it and see if it's a good fit, but then, make a decision. Does this really fit with the strategy or do you want to wait it out and see if it's still going to Clubhouse? Oh my gosh, how
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
time did I
Right.
waste in frickin' the toilet of the internet, Clubhouse?
Yes.
Oh,
Exactly.
worst
It's
social
crazy.
media platform ever
Yes.
created.
Yes. I
I stand
agree.
by that.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. Sorry, Clubhouse. Anyway, but yeah, so don't chase the new squirrel, right? Like, and that's why it's helpful again to have a PR person who is in your corner because they're going to be like, Karen, like, here's the budget that we have, here's the time that we have, like, these things are better for you. Like, they could just put some of that into perspective for you.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. And like I said, more bang for your buck. And, that consultant or that freelancer will be able to make sure that that money is working for you, that you're spending. And again,
Yeah.
you don't have to spend thousands of dollars. We can determine what works best for you and then go from there.
Yeah. You heard it right here from Nisha. Like, you do not need to go broke doing PR. Like, it can be affordable, right? So
Yes.
at least explore it. Why not at least have a touch base and just see if this is a good fit for you? Like, it's a no brainer to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
Okay, I could talk to you all day. This is so fun. And you have so much good knowledge. So, oh my goodness. I don't want to like overwhelm people either because there's so many good things and actionable tips that you're giving us. So, before I ask you my signature question and allow you to like share a little bit more about how people can learn about you, is there anything else you want to share that I haven't asked you that you're like, oh, we need to talk about?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it is a lot of information. It is very overwhelming. And like I said, when people just don't think about PR as a tactic whatsoever because they associate PR with media relations. And again, I don't think that that's the be all end all. There's so many facets to PR that I think at least one of those can fit into your strategy. And again, it can be very affordable and it can be so powerful. PR is just when someone else is telling your story, people tend to listen and it gives it more credibility. So PR will help you gain visibility and definitely gain credibility and trust with your audience.
Yeah. And here's the other thing that I'll say that I just thought of right now. I think when you invest in yourself, other people want to invest in you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when people see that I'm out there and I'm in the news and I'm writing articles here and there and that I'm investing in PR, people are like,
Yeah.
oh, she's serious. Like, well, I want to invest in her. I want to invest with her. I want to be a part of what she's doing. So I think that that just sends like a really strong signal to the market, to your employer, to whoever you're working with. Like, okay, she's serious. This
Yeah.
is this is something we need to pay attention.
Yes, absolutely, without a doubt. And then people will know who you are when you walk down the street or when if you are grabbing a cup of coffee. People are like, "Oh, I've seen her before." In fact, I even had a client, and this is why I say the power of PR because I had a client, woman-owned business, started her own staffing firm, and she just had a brick and mortar, so she was doing a grand opening. So for grand opening, you typically do like a press release and distribute that out to all the local media outlets. And she was here local in Greenville. did that. And it just so happened that we ended up getting a call from Vogue magazine based off of that one press release that was written about her grand opening, because they were doing a feature on women-owned businesses across the country, and they liked her look. They liked the way she looked because she has a different look, and so they liked it. And that has never happened to me in my 20-year career, and I was just flabbergasted at the power of what one press release can do for you. And the visibility that she gained from that was tenfold.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, the power of PR can do wonders for your business.
I literally got chills when you were telling that story. Like, I have goosebumps all over my arms. I'm like, that is so cool. Like, that's the dream, right?
Yes,
But
without a doubt.
she had to invest in herself in order to make that happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So good. Okay. Well, it wouldn't be Rock Your Reinvention if I didn't ask you the signature question. So if you could say one thing to the woman listening who knows she wants to make a change in her life, but doesn't know how to get started, what would you say?
Run, don't walk.
Oh, yes.
The grass can definitely be greener on the other side, without a doubt. I know so many women who are stuck in that corporate rut, and they have this dream of having their own business, if for nothing else, for the flexibility, of being able to be at home and being present with their family. But I would say just do it. I know it can be a scary thing, but if you need some help being talked off that ledge, call me, message me. I will talk you off that ledge. I promise you will just run far, far, far away. So I think that it's important that you do that, because your body will thank you and your family will thank you, without a doubt. Because if you are stuck in this corporate rut that you're not happy with, ultimately nobody around you is going to be happy either.
Yes.
And it can be a detriment to your health and your mental health too. So just do it. That's what I say. Just do it.
Powerful, powerful words. Run, don't walk. And after Nisha talks you off the ledge, you call me and I help you build your corporate exit strategy, and we get you out of that place in 6 months or less. Okay. So that's it. Everything you need right here on this call.
That's right. Good combo. You had a good combo right here.
Exactly. Oh, thank you so much for those words of encouragement and for everything that you have shared today. This has been fabulous. Where can people find you if they're like, all right, Karen, I'm sold. Like, this is great. I need to get some PR in my life.
So I am on Instagram and LinkedIn as NPatel Communications, but I also have a website, so npatelcommunications.com. You can find me on all of those. And like I said, I am an open book. I'm here to help you in any way possible. It is my passion to help women-owned businesses, because there's just not enough support out there for women-owned businesses. And it's sad. It's a sad thing. And so I want to help as many as I can be successful.
Well, I think you are having an amazing impact. And I know that everybody listening today has definitely got some words of wisdom. So thank you for being here and sharing your wisdom and taking some time out of your day. We will be cheering you on and really appreciate you sharing everything today.
Well, thank you for having me. Absolutely. This was fun. We're going to have to do it again.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Deal. Sold. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're inspired to take action by committing to one of the tips or strategies we talked about in today's episode. If you want more accountability and support, I've got your back. Book a complimentary Empowered Exit Strategy call today. Visit KarenFreeland.com to learn more and book your 45-minute session. Until next time, stay fabulous.